Court, the movie podcast where Sean
and Michael
watch shit, talk shit, and most importantly, eat shit. We are the law.
And guess what we saw?
Escape from L.A.
Escape from L.A.
Sorry, John Carpenter's Escape from L.A.
Oh, yeah. I always forget that part. Welcome back to Carpentober, Part 3. This is the third one we've done.
This is the third one.
And this is the third movie of Part 3. Wow.
This is the third. Wait, the third movie of Part 3? What do you mean?
Carpentober Part 3.
Oh.
Is this the third one we've done?
Hey, tweet at us if you know when or what is happening.
I think it's the third one.
Let us know what's happening.
When, where, how, who.
Yes, answer all of those questions. If you are perhaps a journalist taking notes for the oral history of food court for like when we get killed in a school shooting or whatever. I don't know why we would be killed in a school shooting, but...
Well, it's when we do our live show to school. Oh, yeah. Of course.
Hey, kids, we're here to talk about, let's see, what?
Food Court, the movie podcast. Boosh. We probably shouldn't joke about that, but, here we are.
Somebody shoots.
We just watched a movie where people get blasted. We're in the blasting mode.
We're in a great mood because we watched just a wonderful movie.
Fantastic flick. It's definitely a flick. I wouldn't categorize it. There's films, there's movies.
It's definitely not a film.
And there's flicks.
Oh.
That's a flick.
Yeah, I see that.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a flick and it's a movie.
A movie flick.
But it's probably not a film.
No, I wouldn't say.
But sometimes you don't even want to aspire to such bullshit.
Why would you?
I mean, it is strangely shot on film, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's funny how you can shoot film.
Yeah.
A film. You can shoot a movie with film, but you can't shoot a film with a movie.
Yeah, it's really... when you put it that way.
Sometimes you start talking and you're like...
Nah.
Where am I going?
I may have messed up on this one.
The car has no brakes or wheels. You're like, oh, wait a minute. What is this? Much like Snake Plissken being poisoned with Plutonic 7.
Is it Plutonic? Pluto?
I thought it was Plutonics.
Plutonics 7.
Know.
Hey, tweet at us if you remember what... We just watched it like... maybe 45 seconds ago, but who knows?
I still don't remember the name of the bay from the fog. I couldn't tell you. So, there were so many points where I was like, oh, that is an awesome point, but I bet I'm going to forget it.
Yeah.
And here we are.
We are. You know what happens in Escape from L.A.?
So much stuff.
A lot of stuff.
Oh, my God, the plot.
But basically, Escape from New York, remember that movie?
Yeah.
It's similar to that. So what happens is the president's daughter... she goes into VR and gets horny for a guy named Cuervo Jones, which is quite a name. And she's in VR and she falls in love with Cuervo.
Yes.
And so she decides to go all the way to LA.
All the way.
And live with him. But she also takes the black box. Which contains a remote control for all of the satellites, which can shoot EMPs to remove all of the electricity from the Earth, if they want to. Or it can get very specific, and apparently it can ruin a cab driver's car in Portugal or something, they say. Like which is great. And you know what, Snake? We thought he was free after the last one, but he's always up to something. He gets into shit.
He can't help it.
And he's it probably didn't help that at the end of the last movie he ruined peace talks.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
I figured he was I was like, did he just immediately get arrested?
Maybe. I bet he spent a few years on the lam.
Yeah. I wonder what happened with New York, though. Because they do not mention it at all.
I mean, I'm sure it still sucks. That it's probably just the same thing. They're just still tossing people there.
I guess so. It's just...
Maybe there's overflow from New York and they had to start putting them in L.A.
Because they were just like, we have sent every single person who's bad to L.A. now. Yeah. And I was like, but what about the prison.
Maybe it's like, like, oh, we got that old prison, but let's get a new prison. We love, as Americans, prisons.
Yes.
So maybe they're like, we got to start a new prison. And wouldn't it be cool to have a new prison?
When are we going to get like a camera inside of a prison reality show? That's got to be soon, right?
It's one of the many millions of interesting things about this movie is that Snake Plissken is now famous because he's been on a reality. Is it a jail reality show, or was he a reality show hero because of his crimes?
I guess because of his crimes. People. Oh, I guess maybe they're the news reports. He's just they're like, wow, our hero.
He's a star.
He's a star among stars.
So he's got to go back into L.A.?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's got to go into L.A.
It. Maybe he's been there before. We don't know.
And he's got to find her, and he's got to save her. But he's actually, because the president is a weirdo, right-wing nut, he's got to kill her. And
boy. Oh my! Sorry, he really is. He's like fucking Ben Shapiro level.
Absolutely. Like most of Carpenter's movies that are about things, it remains powerful. It says so many things about our age.
Yeah. So a lot of it's on the nose, but you almost need it to. It's just like, just say it, because let's not try to hide it. We need people to just be able to blatantly see, like, this is what we're talking about.
I mean, They Live is not very subtle.
No, exactly.
And so too is this one, not very subtle. And so he goes in and he has many misadventures.
Oh my gosh.
He meets many different people. He gets in and out of and on various vehicles. So many vehicles.
So many
guns.
He rides the waves.
Well, he's got a one-man nuclear submarine.
Yes. Who doesn't?
He steals a motorcycle.
Uh-huh.
Then he surfs at some point.
Surfs on a tsunami wave.
He surfs on a post-earthquake tsunami wave with Peter Fonda from Easy Rider.
Incredible.
He drives various cars. He drives so many different cool cars. He drives like a big red Cadillac that's beautiful.
That's cool.
With Steve Buscemi.
He drives, what else? A motorcycle?
Does he drive another motorcycle? He might drive two. At some point, he drives a helicopter.
Yes.
And
glider.
That's really the most important one. Is he and a whole team fly hang gliders. It's awesome.
Hang gliders that they don't ever have to land. You can kind of decide.
The wind is really strong out there.
Yeah. And on your side, it's like taking you exactly where you need. Incredible.
So, wait, what did I want to?
Oh yeah, he goes in,
and that's it.
Yeah,
he goes in and he fucks with everybody,
and he gets fucked with, but he don't take it.
He doesn't like to get fucked with.
He performs. Last film, he had to wrestle to get his way out. This time, he's got to play ball.
It's so awesome.
Or he'll be shot to death.
It's so good.
Now I would watch that basketball game.
Yeah.
The losing team firing squatches. That would be crazy.
I think it's pretty great because as they're bringing him in, there's a bunch of people fighting. And there's so many ways in this movie, like, does the same things as the first one, but also does different things. Or like, smartly or cleverly subverts your expectations of what will happen. And that is when he plays shooting basketball where they murder you if you don't shoot fast enough.
It's incredible. And it's like an impossible, like, you have 10 seconds to get 10 points.
Yeah.
And it's like you have to go back and forth across it's hilarious. I was like, that's wild.
And it's also great because it's just such an absurd concept. Yeah. It's like the fight in the first one makes perfect sense because this is some action movie. But in this, it's like, wait, he has to play basketball?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
But it's also somehow still awesome.
I really wanted him to fight the guy who had the big shears that cut off people's heads.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been sick.
Yeah.
They should have been like, okay, you passed basketball, but can you pass this? And the guy's like, ching, ching, time to cut your head off.
And then he throws the basketball at his head really hard, and he just collapses. Ping!
He cuts his head off, and he dribbles it and slam dunks.
He does a sky hook.
That would be amazing.
He did have a bald head.
He did.
It would have been perfect. First, he finds a marker on the ground and draws the 3 lines on the head, and then he tosses it. So, in addition to having a plot, this movie also has best parts and worst parts.
Oh, it does.
You know what the beef lamb gyro is?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Tell me.
The beef lamb picture, what? The beef lamb of this picture.
Yeah, the very best part?
Is, for me, it has to be the tsunami surf scene. It is, I did not expect it.
No.
And I couldn't believe it the entire time.
No.
And oddly enough, they kind of pull it off. Like, it still
sort of
kind of works, but it's like so stupid, but it's like, I mean...
It kind of looks cool. It's weird. It's a very strange movie, and maybe it's just because the feel is already so silly.
Yeah.
Sometimes the effects are like 30% horrible, or maybe like 80% horrible, but you're still kind of like, oh, this is stupid,
whatever,
but who cares,
exactly.
you know? And that one is like maybe like 50, well, maybe it's like 60% horrible.
Yeah.
But you're still like, this they're
rules.
surfing a tsunami.
And chasing after a car that happened to be on the side of the road. Like, it was just so amazing. I've never seen anything that looked like that
I know.
in my life. I was like, how the fuck did they do this?
I know.
These, like, rinky-dink like ways of figuring out effects are sometimes just so much better to me.
It's so cool.
It's just like amazing. It's like,
I mean, I think they just composited like certainly those dudes were on one of those fake surfing things that they have at like the fair. And then they just slowly moved that through.
It was just like a mound of humans in green screen suits like
picking them up. Maybe so.
Crazy. It'd be like, did you see the behind the scenes of Little Mermaid? With like all of the green screen dudes. This is psycho.
Insane. Why would they do such a thing?
So nuts. But yeah, I know it's dumb, but I just was like, this is incredible.
It's so much fun.
They went for it. They really went for it.
It's
it makes
so
me
great.
Want to revisit like the Pierce Brosnan 007s because they started getting crazy.
Yeah.
There's one where he's like windsurfing on ice or something crazy. I need to revisit. That's the one where they're like using the sun power to like melt the world or something.
Oh yeah, sure.
Amazing. I think it's Die Another Day. Check it
hey,
out.
Why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't
Just go ahead and die tomorrow.
Yeah, who knows?
Doesn't it have the Madonna?
I guess I'll die another day.
My beef lamb gyro of this picture, my favorite part is that it is one of the finest character actor Hall of Fame movies.
Oh, yes, yeah.
So many great people. I mean, Kurt Russell, who's not a character actor, but sort of became a character actor.
Yes.
Steve Buscemi.
Amazing.
One of our finest.
Classic.
Stacy Keach.
Who's Stacy Keach?
He plays Commander Malloy, but he was also in lots of action movies.
He was in the crazy hair one.
Yes, he's in the Body Bags as well.
That was crazy.
And in various other films. Oh, he's in a movie I watched recently called Road Games that rules.
Road Games.
Pam Grier, who's amazing.
Classic.
Cliff Robertson, who's in a lot of weird movies. He played the president.
Oh,
but he's also in Obsession and a few other
he's Uncle Ben in Spider-Man.
Yes, him too.
Much kinder in that one.
Yes.
Not crazy. What if he was this crazy as Uncle Ben? And you're like, that's kind of fun.
I'm glad he got killed. Valeria Golino, who, in addition to being like one of the hottest people of all time,
wonderful.
Just absurdly hot, is also really amazing in the Hot Shots movies. She plays like the hot lady, but she's so fucking funny in those movies.
She's
amazing.
Great. I've seen her in a bunch of stuff. She's
rules. Great.
Always good.
Peter Fonda.
I'm very fond.
Who's in a million things.
Performance.
And his name is Pipeline, which is great.
Pipeline. He is just so funny to me, that character.
Yeah. Hey.
Snake,
Snake. What's going on? Hey, Snake, thanks for not killing me, man. That was really very chill of you, dude.
Thanks for not killing me. It starts raining and he's like, hey, I heard you got messed up in Cleveland, and Snake just keeps walking. There's so many times where he just leaves the scene.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
He's done with people's bullshit, and he's only got 10 hours this time.
That is true.
Peter Jason, who's, he's in like 1,000 John Carpenter movies, obviously. He's just a guy who's like, well, hey, how are you? Hey, what's going on? My name's Peter Jason.
Hi.
We've gotten this far down, and we're still at Bruce Campbell.
Oh my gosh, classic!
One of the great people of all time.
Unrecognizable, but as soon as he talks, you go,
Bruce
that's
Campbell.
him.
Yep, he plays the Surgeon General of Beverly Hills in one of the great scenes.
Crazy.
I've still got a few more. Okay, Breckin Meyer, who was just in stuff.
Yeah,
he plays one of the surfers.
Breckin.
Robert Carradine, who is in Revenge of the Nerds.
Carradine.
Yeah, the son of the Carradines.
What?
Who was like the main nerd in Revenge of the Nerds and was in various other films. Plays that skinhead.
You're going to lose it.
Yeah.
I have never seen any of those movies.
Revenge of the Nerds?
The Nerd. Are there many of them?
I think there's 2.
Okay.
They're movies that I remember fondly from my youth, but I can't imagine they're good.
Yes, probably not.
Because I remember thinking like, oh, this is fun. There's like a gay guy and a gross guy and like regular nerds, and it's fun. And there's like an especially nerdy guy who just like can barely talk or move. It's really good. Isn't that guy in like?
Oh, I've seen him before.
Isn't he in the early Wes Anderson movies? Or am I crazy?
I've seen that guy's face. He's the guy when he's like, "Get my guns." He's just like, oh, and then he knows exactly where they are.
I think 2 more.
Okay.
Leland Orser. Who, among other things, plays the He Made Me Fuck Her guy from 7.
Oh, that was crazy.
He's great.
Oh, my God.
And let's see, there's one more. Ali Yong, who plays... He's basically in every movie of the 80s where there's a Chinese guy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But he's in Big Trouble in Little China.
Amazing.
He electrocutes Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon 1.
Whoa, damn.
He gets a Nestle Crunch bar in Die Hard. He's got some of the finest. But that's just like an all-time list of like second and third tier character actors who are just amazing. And they're all just hanging out in the back.
Oftentimes, they don't get enough credit. They create the world the movie rests on. Without these characters, you got nothing.
Yeah.
I love them. Like the guy that you mentioned, the Revenge of the Nerds guy, has one of my favorite scenes. he walks after Snake and he goes, "Hey, One Eye. You look at me when I'm talking to you," and Snake just keeps going. So he pulls out a knife and he goes to throw it, and Snake just turns around and just kills him. I was like, holy crap.
It's so fucking awesome.
I wish he had gone back for that big gun because he gets it taken away really
It's a
early.
cool big gun.
He's just like, it's so cool.
And it's also interesting that like Robert Carradine was, of course, mostly known for his Revenge of the Nerds work. And for him to play like mean skinhead, like mean skinhead is like, oh, this is interesting.
All right, cool.
This is a movie. I don't know if it has any, before seeing it, if it had any, if you had any idea of what it was.
No, yeah.
Because this is a movie that maybe I assumed or I had heard was just like a horrible piece of shit. Just because... Like, well, Escape from New York is like one of the greatest.
It's a blast.
And this is similar but different.
Yes.
Like we discussed it during the movie, maybe 100 times more silly and goofy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I loved that, honestly, because it's like you already did that. You already did New York. You did that vibe, and it's a good foil for the movies and the way those cities work. You know, L.A. is kind of a madhouse of goofy characters. New York is, it's tough.
Yeah.
They got the Duke.
Yeah.
And this place has...
Cuervo Jones. Truly, maybe... Is it Galaxy... What's the one past Galaxy Brain? Or is Galaxy Brain the highest?
Galaxy Brain?
Is it in the memes when the brain?
Oh yeah.
Is it past Galaxy Brain?
I think so. Maybe
he's like universe universe brain where he's like, okay, Peter Fonda's going to play a surfer. What should his name be? Pipeline. Perfect. Pam Grier. She's a beautiful black lady. What's her name going to be? Hershey. Perfect.
Hershey. Yeah.
there's a is he Portuguese? Is he from El Salvador? They mention what non-Mexican but Spanish-speaking country he's from, and they're like, Cuervo, yeah, perfect,
Cuervo,
great,
that's it.
I got a great idea.
At first, I thought they said huevo.
I
was like,
Balls Jones.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute.
That's
Balls Jones. I like it.
The name's Jones.
Balls
Jones. That would be a good spy movie.
That would be a good spy movie.
The balls.
Jones. Balls Jones.
Is that Balls Jones?
Yeah, it is. And you know how I know?
How?
Because I am him. That's me.
You're Balls Jones.
I'm Balls Jones, and you're dead. Just
Call me
him
Snake.
in half.
Oh my goodness!
Wow.
You just cut me in half. Wow! Like
Nice
I'm talking out
try.
of two different sides.
Yeah.
Oh no! You cut me in half. Yeah, that's weird. They turn into like tragedy and comedy.
Holy shit!
Oh, that was funny.
An amazing character.
Hey, tweet at us at Food Courtcast if you want to give us the money
That would rule.
to make Balls Jones,
I'd be
Huevos
like,
Jones.
what the fuck? Balls Jones in theaters.
Hey, everybody talks like Snake. Hey,
Everybody,
wait.
even the hot lady.
Well, they do that with Pam Grier.
True, yeah.
Pam Grier. Now, I don't want to talk about the bad things too early, but I'll get it out of the way. They keep dead naming Hershey.
Yeah, that's not good. You can't do that.
Snake is not aware of
this is wild
LGBTQ politics.
This is a very progressive name, though. Hershey, she, her.
Oh my God!
Whoa! That is universe brain stuff.
That's insane!
Galactic.
Wow, great,
Thanos.
great job. And Snake Plissken is an asshole. If her name is Hershey, her name is Hershey. She's not called Carjack anymore.
He doesn't care about anything.
Yeah. Sometimes to his detriment, we'll be honest.
I guess if he walked past, he almost left a lady to get mutilated. And she was like, can you please help?
Please help me. He's like, fuck, okay.
Fine, cut her down.
That's another amazing scene. The hot babe from Hot Shots.
Yes.
What is her name again?
She's beautiful.
Tomasino? Okay. Whatever. Beautiful.
Hot lady.
Hot lady. Who is shows up and has a funny little scene where she's like, hey, be quiet or they find you. And then of course they get found.
Yep.
And there's that great Bruce Campbell scene. And then they're leaving and he's kind of like, she's like, hey, Snake, don't you want to I don't know, fuck or something like that? And he's like, nah. And he gets the fuck out of there.
Here's one of my favorite lines. He hands her a gun and he goes, the future is now. I was like, that's incredible.
He's right.
I want to make a design that's just his face and then the future is
Do it.
now. I think that'd be awesome.
I'll wear it.
Woo!
And then the next scene, he's wandering down the street.
Yes.
Which is they show first a really cool matte painting.
Yeah.
I think it's nice that there's still matte paintings in this
matte
movie
paintings
that are big
so
and beautiful.
much.
Okay, so he's wandering down a
cool.
burnt out street, one of the many burnt out streets.
You gotta have
and she sneaks up and he almost kills her, and then she's like, hey, I'm coming with you. And she tells what is actually quite a moving story. She's like, he's like, hey, how did you get in here? And she's like, oh, well, I was a Muslim in Wisconsin before they made that illegal.
Yeah, it's like, damn.
It's like, oh, yeah, that sounds like us.
Yeah, classic us.
And they send her to L.A. because she's a Muslim. And, but she's like, this is the only place where you can be free, man. I mean, look at all this stuff. Over there, you can't do anything. You can't have freedom of religion. You can't have freedom of speech. You can't definitely can't be like a trans woman.
No, God.
Certainly they kicked her out for that.
Big trouble.
And then immediately after she's told this kind of moving story, she gets shot and killed.
Oh my God, it's wild.
She just gets shot at sport alert. She gets shot and killed.
Yeah, she's like, it's not so bad in here. Dead immediately. You're like, oh.
And it's one of those things where you think, maybe this is one of those things where she gets shot in the arm and she survives, but she's just immediately dead. Yeah. You're like, holy fuck.
I was like, whoa.
And
killed by children.
Yes. Killed by the Korean dragons who have Uzis.
Yeah.
And they blast her.
Should have been called the baby dragons. They were like 8. It was wild.
And also, Kurt Russell gets like 30 seconds to do some good acting, which is nice. Not that he's not doing good acting throughout, but he's doing different good acting. Different. He gets a moment to do some grounded, like, I've got one eye, but I have to show all the emotion in my one eye acting. And you go, oh, that's too bad.
I wonder if that's tough, like having to act with one eye like covered the whole time.
I wonder.
That would be a lot. Just like...
who should we should talk to about that? Tom Hardy.
Oh, right.
Who acts with nothing but his mouth?
It's crazy.
Dunkirk.
When
it's just his... Wait, it's nothing. It's just his eyeballs, right?
I don't even know if it's that.
Oh, yeah. I think it's just his voice.
It's just his voice. Bane, it's just his eyes.
Yeah.
Very expressive eyes. What if we covered your entire face? How about that?
It's a good idea.
It is good.
Other great stuff in this movie.
Oh my God, the scene where he's just so... He's even heightened what he was like in the first movie.
Yes.
And he's like being put in the little sub at the beginning. Oh my God. And and he's like, he turns to the general dude and his assistant. And he goes, "Are you two administering the drug?" And they're like, "No, we won't be there." And he goes, "Good." And he tries to shoot them. But they're holograms. But it was so funny. I was like, that is incredible.
They do. The hologram. Thank you for bringing up the hologram bit.
Oh my God.
Well, in that scene, they aren't holograms.
Oh, it's blank.
They have given him blanks in his first
Psycho
magazine. Because they knew that he would try to kill them.
When they said blanks, I was like,
so good.
What?
But earlier, there's a hologram bit that's also awesome.
Insane.
And in that scene, that's one of those scenes that is like just very simply done.
Yeah.
But the tech is so cool and interesting.
Yeah.
Like she's got like a little, essentially like projector. Yeah. And it's not like one of those things in most movies where they have like the hologram looks like shit or something. Yeah. Like they just put up a screen in the air and he looks at the screen, and then they also somehow have, it's like a 3D camera or something.
Yes.
So they quickly VR him.
Yeah, which is wild.
Which is awesome.
It's like, oh, whoa.
And he's in the scene as the president's daughter is like giving her little speech.
Yes. And
he looks back and like all of the cameramen and stuff are there. It's super surreal and very funny.
Whoa, yeah.
It's just a cool, like, that is definitely Universe Brain, John Carpenter at his strangely best.
Yeah.
Can he be at his best?
There's
and like
wild about
a
it.
very, very low in his just got cinematography. Filmography, yes. Cinematography is when you take the movie with the pictures.
Yes, cinematography is like,
And filmography is when you have movies.
Yes, a filmography. Cool. Filmography. Yeah, that part's crazy. I also did laugh when... Well, we won't get there because I guess that's not technically good.
Hey, we can transition.
Well, let's see. There's so many great... It's just so much fun. Oh my God, one of my favorite scenes. This is nearly a Euro. Snake gets thrown off of his motorcycle by I want to say a bolo. What is that?
He does.
It's like the strings that wrap around your head. He's like, what?
He does.
He like can't be hit by he can't be foiled by like actual technology. But if you throw like rudimentary stuff, he's
like a net.
out. Yeah, nets, bolos.
That's
he
pretty
cannot. Great. I think that's called a bolo. Anyway, he falls to the ground and he is surrounded by men with machine guns. And for some reason, they don't instantly shoot him. He goes, wait, let's play this game. And they're like, all right.
Bangkok style.
Yeah. Is that what he said?
Yeah, it's Bangkok style.
And he is, they're all like, all right, we'll play. And so Snake picks up this can.
Very slowly.
Very slowly. And he goes, nobody draws until this can hits the ground. And he throws it in the air and then he shoots all of them. The can lands and he goes, draw. It's so amazing.
It's so awesome. Incredible. So amazing.
It's one of the best scenes I've ever seen in my life.
They do the classic, like Sergio Leone, everybody spreads out. Yes. They play like dulcimer music and they play the wow. And he also does a double draw. He shoots with two guns.
Yeah, it's amazing.
He does the double draw and he goes.
That's incredible.
It's really great.
One of the best shootout scenes of all time.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. It's really, I mean,
interesting.
It does the thing that you think it's going to do. And then it's just like one step a little bit smarter.
It's even better. You're like, this is what I hope would happen. Oh my God, they exceeded that.
What you hope will happen is he's just going to be awesome and he's going to do a quick draw and he's going to beat him.
Exactly.
And you're like, oh, this is going to be that Leone thing. Exactly. He's just like faster than them. But it's not. He's just like outsmarts them in the dumbest way. Yeah. They're just like, oh, okay, yeah, let's do the can thing.
Yeah, it's like...
Hey, this would be fun, wouldn't it?
I love it because like this honor among thieves thing has always been bullshit. Stupid. So it's like, no, just kill them.
Yeah.
Kill you.
That's why we love Snake Plissken.
He's amazing.
Other than his... Hey, we're going to have to educate him about the trans stuff, which is... Yeah,
because he's not ready. He wasn't ready.
Everybody... at some point in their life has to learn about things.
To be fair, he had a really bad history with this person.
That's true.
This person's basically screwed him over.
Yeah.
And so I get why he's mad at her, but
still, no excuse.
It's uncalled for.
Yeah, just be mean to her
in other ways.
Just be mean to her, but using her regular name.
Yeah, you don't have to say,
hey, Hershey, fuck you, you asshole.
You don't gotta fill up her leg and grab her little gun and go,
that's pretty good,
still got a little gun between your legs. That's so funny. It's like, oh my God.
It's insane.
It's pretty wild.
But it can't all be good.
No.
I mean, there's a lot more good things that we'll think of, but one more bad thing.
Yeah.
The very worst thing for me, the low man, is in general, I think the music is not as good as the first movie.
No, it can't compete.
It's a lot of the same themes sometimes, but maybe not employed as well.
No.
But also, strangely, the thing that really annoyed me many, many times is there is music in their little camps.
Yes.
Like they're listening to whatever. They're listening to White Zombie and Tool and shit like that, which is whatever. You know, strange.
Whatever you want.
But the fact that they also have score over that, and I never really like when there's music happening and also score.
It's confusing.
Just like fade out the music or just, I don't know. I mean, they want to convey an idea of how these people are partying, but I just didn't really like it.
No,
is the problem.
Weird, yeah. And early on, there's just a lot of like metal being thrown around. So like, drink! And it's like, this kind of isn't working exactly.
Yes. I believe it's the same woman who did the Final Destination score, worked with him, and I like the Final Destination score.
I don't remember it.
But it is... I think part of the problem is it just doesn't sound like a John Carpenter movie for a lot of it.
Yeah.
Like some of the themes just, I mean, in some ways are just like more, what is the right word? They are more,
bad.
I mean, they're just like aren't the same vibe as a Carpenter score, which is sort of spare, and these are like big and full and like orchestral, and it just doesn't seem right for the movie.
Yeah,
or at least my concept of the movie.
Yeah,
it's obviously what Carpenter wanted.
He said, "All right, let's do it."
But
I think he's cursed. Every time he makes a sequel, the music gets worse.
Yeah.
You know how I feel. I have very strong opinions about Halloween 2's theme.
You don't like the Halloween 2 theme? He doesn't like
Nightmare Festival. Like, it sounds... I don't get it.
That's kind of why I like it, though. Yeah.
It's just too distracting. Like, that's why I like Halloween original theme, because it's like, ooh, this is eerie, but it's not overwhelming.
That's true.
It's like you could pan over from Michael Myers killing someone in the second one to just some crazy person on this synthesizer. Like, it's just too distracting for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, ugh, I can't do it. But hey, I'm glad he's trying stuff.
He likes to fool around.
Yeah, he does.
But yeah, I think that in general, there are some moments in the movie that lag or drag or just feel, and it's not even that long of a movie or anything, but it's just like there's a few scenes where I think if they employed the same kind of music as they do in the first one, it would just have more forward motion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like there's some moments where it feels like they're not going anywhere.
Right, yeah.
And if there's like one of the things about the first one is that like there's always something happening. There's just like that. There's like some kind of cool synth kick drum that's happening.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, dong, dong, ding, ding. There's like lots of those themes. And also, I don't like, there's a lot of moments where you feel space for these songs. Like when the Duke first shows up in Escape from New York.
Yeah.
It's like he has this grand entrance. And there's a few moments where like when Snake has his entrance, it is like pretty beautifully done, and like they do the classic move up and you see him and he's standing on a thing and he looks super awesome.
Yeah.
But like Cuervo doesn't get much of a introduction.
Not really.
He doesn't have a cool theme.
Or
at least not one that I noticed.
Hear one, yeah.
But it seems like even, especially since he's going with the Sergio Leone thing, like he could have, you know, some cool synthy but Spanish kind of thing that's Leone inspired, or, you know, but I don't know. That's just a little disappointing.
And just in general, he just wasn't a very like intimidating figure.
No.
Like he didn't have the same air about him as like the Duke or anything. And he just I don't know, he just didn't really have it for me. I don't.
No,
he never really.
He's not as good as. Strangely, he's not as good as Isaac Hayes, who's just a guy who's a musician. But
he's just like, hey, what's up?
But he's got a great look.
Yeah.
And he's got great henchmen.
Yes, the henchmen were lacking in this one.
Yeah.
No recognizable henchmen. Just a bunch of. There was a cowboy guy. That was pretty cool.
He was just on a horse.
But he's dead now. He got shot with a gun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was lacking that. Like, it didn't have anyone like the big haired dude in the first.
Yeah.
Like, you needed a little.
Buscemi's
something.
the big who's his like talker, and he's great.
Yeah.
But he's not a good henchman. He's not scary. He's like a combination of the Brain character from the first one and the Cabby character from the first one.
Like
you
the
like
Joker or something.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
But there's no like big guy. Like if you're a bad guy, you have to have like a really tall guy, or someone who's like so evil that it doesn't matter that he's short, or someone with a cool outfit. And they just doesn't really have.
A bunch of dudes
he
with
has
guns.
like hundreds and hundreds of like generically looking henchmen guys,
exactly,
who are like some of them are vaguely Latino with like bandanas and stuff.
Yes,
and that's about it.
Yeah, it just didn't have the same. You really have to work on that, like create this like group of villains, because it's like more interesting.
Yeah,
it's just a bunch of random dudes. Like that's why, like the Shears guy, I was like, okay, maybe this is his like right. No, just random
He's
guy.
just some random guy.
God, dang it!
Having big shears to cut someone's head off is pretty cool.
That would be such a cool henchman.
Yeah.
He should have considered henchmen. I think that was his big flaw, fatal flaw.
Would you say that is the worst part of the movie?
No, the worst part of the movie for sure is the CG.
It's so bad.
It's
miserable.
It's like, yeah, I guess they just got excited. They're like, "Ooh, we can do so much now," but it looks horrible. Like,
looks quite bad.
Yeah, the main scene I think of is when Snake first gets in the submarine.
Yeah.
And he, like, first of all, they have this insane CG like door that shuts. It's like they're like always way too fast.
Yes.
To where they would just kill whoever.
Yes.
Like if you were like the doors in Star Wars, if you were accidentally in the way, you would just get sliced in half.
Absolutely.
So fucking insanely fast. I never get that shit. And then like he's just flying through the underwater, just like doing like crazy shit because they could do it.
Yeah.
It just looks so dumb.
It looks very, very bad.
It just is all dumb. So that was a rough one for me. And like the Hollywood sign on fire. Like it's like I get they wanted to do these ideas. Also, one that just doesn't really even make any sense. Like why?
Yeah, that part is really weird because like there's nothing behind it.
Yeah, it's just...
like you in many of the shots that work in the movie and in the first movie, like they move past an effect, and then you see part of the city or something.
Yeah,
you move into like a mat or something like that. And I think that would be kind of cool if like they move past the Hollywood sign and then you see where Snake is moving towards or whatever.
Nice.
But it just seems like a shot out of space and out of time.
Yeah,
where it's just like,
right.
I don't know, wouldn't it be cool if the Hollywood sign was burning?
That would be cool.
It would be cool, but it doesn't, it like, no one looks up at it. It seems like it's
Pointless.
Just placed in there.
It's like, all right.
Completely out of context from the rest of the movie.
The problem with CG, like, especially nowadays, too, it's just like adding stuff that does not need to be there.
No.
It's like, why? We didn't need this at all.
I mean, I think, especially it is especially egregious with the little one-man submarine.
Yeah,
because it's the same scene as the first movie, which is fine.
But that looked way better. But
the scene in the first movie looks great, and because it's like they went, okay, these are our limitations. The limitations are we can't fly a glider around New York City, so we'll just use a little. We'll use a little model, and we'll fly a little thing through that, and we'll mostly show it from a computer point of view.
Yeah.
And they do that some, but just not enough.
Yeah, not enough.
It's pretty rough.
They get a little nutty with it.
They, luckily, don't use quite as much.
Yeah.
I think it is, this movie, the reputation I knew of before I had seen it, was the CG is horrible, which is true.
It is.
It is horrible, but it's really not that much of it.
No,
I mean,
that is thankful.
There is some, and some of it, and most of the stuff you see is pretty miserable.
You're like, oof.
But there's a lot of just him walking around places or being near a matte painting.
Yeah.
Or,
nice.
I mean, it's hard for me to think of the other, like, what are the other CG things that are especially bad? Like, the surfing is not great.
No, but it's not.
But it's kind of fun.
I thought it would look way worse. That's what I was like. And I was like, this is just so stupid that it's funny.
Yes.
Like, it's just like, this is wild.
Yes.
And they're aware that this is absolutely psycho. Like,
yes.
Something like this wouldn't have happened in the first movie. So it was interesting. Like, I do like the silly vibe.
Yes.
Overall. But,
it's so much fun.
Because, you're just having a good time.
You're having a great... If you aren't having a great time, well, I don't want to be your friend.
Yeah, let's just...
I just don't want to spend any time with you.
Plain and clear.
Which is fine. You don't... We don't have to be friends, but just... Come on. There's a guy with an eye patch, and he's wandering through the burnt-out remains of Los Angeles.
Incredible.
Meeting weird people. One of whom is Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
Who's got a bunch of makeup on. I mean, what more do you want from a movie?
Nothing. Nothing at all. Except better CG. No,
yes, better CG.
But I brought this movie up last week, but believe it or not, that sub scene is still better than the scene from Batman and Robin that I told you about.
You really?
It looks like 10 times better.
It's crazy.
You gotta see it.
Because that scene probably cost 10 times what this scene does, right?
Yeah. But it is psycho levels. Like, it's unreal. Literally. It's fake. Yeah. CG.
Truly. It's also a movie that feels a lot bigger than it is.
Yeah,
it seems like it was kind of a big budget movie.
Yeah, it does.
But they get a lot out of, like, the matte paintings and that kind of thing.
I agree. I do appreciate. I wish matte paintings would come back. They're so interesting.
It's. Yeah. I think we talk about this way too much on the show, but nonetheless, it's amazing that they don't do matte paintings anymore.
I know. Like, I feel like craft level. There's still amazing artists out there, obviously, but like, I don't know if they were just more concentrated back in the day, where you could like reach them more easily.
I don't know.
'Cause there's some amazing.
Because shit like that is strange, because it's like, well, that should be better now.
Yeah.
Because it's 100 times easier.
Yeah.
1 million times easier. You don't have to get a big like piece of glass and paint onto it and then have it. But maybe also that is part of why it looks good, is because like a lot of the matte paintings were just like a piece of glass that's in the shot itself.
That is huge. If you just have the thing, even those shows that do their CG shots, they have the actors in the studio with a big like screen behind them. Looks better than
definitely.
Because it's just like, oh well, you're kind of there. The light of the screen is showing the environment on you, so that's like more engrossing.
Yeah,
it's just when it's just so separated, you're like, ugh.
Yeah. Why bother?
Yeah. Why?
Why bother?
Why even bother?
It's also, I think this is a common theme in basically anybody talking about any movie now.
Yeah.
But it is weird, like when you watch a movie like this and you're like, oh man, the good old days.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, it's got some really horrible CG, but it's like, oh, at least they were. Back in those days, they used to try to do things.
Yeah, I would take a bad movie, older movie, over a bad new movie any day.
They just tried to do things.
Yeah, there's something going on here, actually, not just nothing. It's just
and also just like mad ideas.
Yeah, why?
The hang glider shit is fucking insane.
It's like nearing the level of Fast and Furious. It's like very interesting.
Yeah.
I think this is better still, but
it's mad. It is madness. It's like, okay, so we can't drive to the city. It'll take 2 hours. We've only got 40 minutes. How do we get there? The air. Hang gliders.
Yeah. He says some.
He says death from above, which is really awesome.
Death from above.
We'll get some fucking hang gliders. But it's okay. The idea of hang gliders is crazy.
Yeah, insane.
The idea of hang gliders inside of this world, where there's a badass named Snake Plissken,
crazy.
It's like, what? Snake Plissken would never, never fly on a hang glider, but he does, and you're like, oh, this is great.
It's so silly, but it is so fun. You're like, wow, he's just somehow controlling this glider, flying exactly where he needs to shoot people. No one can hit him, even though it would be pretty easy, probably. And if you just shot the glider wings, it would just fall. But I love, too, there's no cool way to land. You just crash into people.
Yeah, like, it looks like they show Kurt's crash.
Yeah.
And it looks like he hits people and almost dies.
Yeah, it looks pretty intense. I was like, oh,
like, shit. It looks like him. I mean, I'm sure it's just whatever, a crane.
Yeah.
Just dropping him onto people, but it looks scary.
It looks very
looks like, oh, shit. Oh, God, Kurt, I hope he's okay.
I did like seeing Steve Buscemi slam into that building. That was so funny. I was like, that's amazing.
Really good bit.
Yeah. He was wild.
Any final thoughts about?
I mean, the elephant in the room, the Pam Grier stuff's definitely aged.
Yes, that is aged very poorly. Yeah.
And like the pitch down voice is just like,
it's weird.
Really not
it's
necessary.
Really weird.
It's like a weird joke. It's like, I don't know.
It's also weird that doesn't Pam Grier play like a fake person in some? Isn't she a fake person in? Not that she's a fake person in this, but in the Bill and Ted sequel, isn't she like an alien inside of?
I don't remember.
I think she's got someone inside of her, and it's especially strange because it's like, I don't know. It's just weird.
Yeah, it just...
Why, of all people, Pam Grier would...
I don't get it. It's weird to take a hot lady and be like, I don't know. It just was weird. It just felt very off.
It's all very weird.
And then like the pitch down just a goof. Like it just doesn't work.
Very goofy.
I don't think I have liked just like pitching down someone's voice in anything. It's like just have them do a deeper voice or like not at all. Just like have a regular voice. I don't understand. If you took whatever, we don't have to get into the science of it, but
we don't get into the science of it.
It just was weird, and of course, it's just unavoidable. It's like when you watch '90s movies, like Rush Hour or something. They're like,
"Oh yeah,
what are you gay?" And you're like, "Oh God!" Like, jeez Louise, the datedness is wild. We're like, man, every other joke's about gay people. It's so weird. Anyway, that's
we didn't know.
Writing.
We didn't know about gay people back then.
Nope.
We found out about them recently.
Recently we were like, I guess you can do that.
Okay, sure. Hey, do what you got to do.
A hole's a hole, if you know what I mean.
I do. Which brings us to a segment we like to call Panda Express Presents Express Yourself about the movies you watch this week. Play the theme, please, Michael.
Ding 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 bonk bonk bonk. It's time for the Panda Express ding ding because we got some things to express ding ding about the things we watched ding ding this week. Processing movies you watched.
What movies did you watch?
I watched the classic, horrible but amazing flick.
Escape from LA.
That would be amazing. I watched Van Helsing.
Oh.
Hugh Jackman. One of my all-time favorite bad watches.
I remember thinking I enjoyed it.
It is masterfully bad. Like it rules.
Okay.
You're just like, this is it's dumb, but I'm having the best time ever. It's way too long. I started it at 1:30. It was over at 4 a.m.
Oh my God.
I was like,
what?
My friend was over and I looked over. He was just passed out. I was like, yeah.
How is that possible?
Maybe we didn't start at 1:30. I don't know when we started, but it was about 4, and I was like,
holy shit.
But I was having a blast.
Yeah.
Alone because my friend was asleep.
Having such a good time.
I was laughing. I was like, did you see that? He's just like, whoops. It's great, though. One of the worst Hugh Jackman performances, but it's one of my favorite lines, he's arguing with Kate Beckinsale, who's equally as bad. It's just the writing. Everything about it's just stupid.
Yeah.
And she's like, but he won't kill. He wouldn't kill anybody. And Hugh Jackman's like, but he'll do it anyway. It's just like horrible. It's like, what is this? It's just amazing. It's just
him being a great actor.
But some of the CG, some of it's horrible. Some of it's held up. Some of it you're like, whoa, that kind of still works.
Hey, I'll watch it.
It's fun. I would watch it anytime.
Tweet at us if you want to have a private screening. Only $700 each.
Yeah. Each seat is $700.
You can sit with us and we'll watch it.
Yeah, together.
No talking. Please don't like watch the movie and be like, yeah, great movie.
Did you know that when he kicked the helmet, he broke his toe?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we saw the meme.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what?
I have an announcement. You know those? Have you seen these memes going around of like Lord of the Rings? It's not Lord of the Rings, but it's like different movies.
Yeah.
And they put like Frodo, like the name, it's like tracked to the person. It's like, there's Frodo, there's Gandalf. Well, I've started doing that just with Lord of the Rings scenes.
Okay.
So it's just their names tracked to their faces. So I'm just letting people know about that.
Okay.
If you see that meme, go ahead and share it.
Hey, like it, share it, subscribe to those memes.
Anti-memes is my new thing.
It's the hot new thing that people are talking about.
Keep it up. Keep it telling them.
Speaking of anti-memes, I watched 2 movies this week. Or I watched more than that, but 2 I want to talk about.
Okay.
Road Games, which I mentioned earlier, with Stacy Keach. And another star of this movie, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh, what?
Oh, I forgot to mention, Jamie Lee Curtis does the opening monologue as she did
that makes sense.
the exposition thing as she did in the first movie.
I didn't realize that was her. That's crazy.
And Road Games is a movie about a serial killer.
Oh.
And Stacy Keach, who played that general guy, Stacy Keach, plays a truck driver.
Ooh.
And Jamie Lee Curtis plays a hitchhiker.
Oh, no.
And at some point they realize Stacy Keach realizes that he may have seen a murderer. Like he sees his dog sniffing a trash bag, and he sees a guy looking out a window, and he's like, "Oh, that's pretty weird." And then later he hears a story on the radio about a serial killer, and he's like, "Oh, that's pretty weird that my dog was sniffing trash." And that guy was looking out the window at trash at 4 a.m.
Yeah, that is weird.
And it's just a road movie and a serial killer movie, and it's Australian, and it's so fucking good.
I love it.
It's great. Stacy Keach is like unexpectedly verbose. Like he's playing a truck driver. He doesn't really want to be a truck driver. Yeah. He doesn't think of himself as a truck driver, and he like reads poetry and stuff. And it's a really good movie.
That makes me happy.
I recommend it. I also watched Jawan.
Jawan.
It's a new, well, not that new anymore, but a few month old Indian movie.
Ooh. Jawan.
That is pretty good.
Okay.
There's lots of really good parts and some not as great, but some pretty good songs, some great action.
Yes.
Also some like on the edge of incomprehensible action. But a good time. If you've got like as long as an Indian movie is, which is like 3.5 hours, you'll enjoy it. I mean, it's certainly better than going to see whatever Marvel, Ms. Marvels, the Lady Marvels.
I
come to theaters
now.
That
trailer's so incomprehensible to me. I'm like, what? What are you doing?
I'm still amazed.
Yeah,
I'm still amazed that they have kept all of those performances by what is her name again? Brie Larson?
Oh, yeah. Brie Larson.
Is that her name?
Yeah.
I'm amazed that they have kept her.
Baked Brie.
I got it.
I got it, yeah.
There's just one
This is a job for Captain Marvel.
Hey, I better run over and do this. It's
wild.
It's wild.
Maybe the most money someone's made doing nothing.
I wonder.
I mean, there's probably been roles where people just don't care. Oh, I probably I remember I had to, when I was kid sitting, I took this kid to see Pirates of the Caribbean 12 or whatever the fuck it was.
Sure.
And Johnny Depp was just not trying at all.
Sure.
He's just sitting there like, I was like, this is wild. He just does not care. That's crazy. I'm having just...
So check out Jawan.
And check out Nightmare Before Christmas. I watched that as well.
Good flick.
I fell asleep, but it was great.
30th anniversary.
Yes.
This year.
Oh, yeah. Is it coming back out?
It's coming back out. I don't know if they're going to make us pay more.
Probably.
I'm not going to pay $15.
I need to go to the theater because I have not gone once this month, and I pay for that monthly thing.
Oh, yeah.
Go.
Okay, I'll go.
Have you seen the Exorcist thing?
Yeah, I'll see it again.
What did you think?
Now, this is what happened, is every review was like, this is a travesty. David Gordon Green should be taken out in the street and have his head cut off for shitting on the legacy of William Friedkin's great masterpiece.
Damn.
And then I watched it and I was like, oh, this is pretty fun.
Yeah. That's
I was like, I don't fucking care. Who cares? I mean, I love The Exorcist, but it's not... It has nothing to... Like, yes, it's a sequel, but who the fuck... Yeah, I don't care.
Who cares?
And I just had fun, and I thought it was kind of nice.
I love it. Well, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen anything that's out right now.
There's not
a ton
much that's great, but it's okay. There's okay stuff.
I gotta go.
You can go see... Did I already recommend? I did. The gross movies. You would not like the gross movies,
probably
though.
not.
You don't like gross stuff.
Not super.
Let's go see it anyway, though.
Yeah. Oh.
You can fucking puke.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, awesome. Doesn't this fucking rule? And I'm like, this is cool.
Yeah. I can handle some... Like, in this movie, there's, like, silly gore. I don't mind that, but sometimes I'm like, ooh, that's
realistic
too much
gore
for me.
You don't like when people's eyeballs get sucked out by vacuums.
Not particularly.
Which is stupid. It's cool when people... Okay. Friends,
Romans.
Countrymen.
Oh, countrymen, lend me your ears.
Tweet at us at Food Courtcast. We love when we get a nice tweet.
Yes.
Respond to our any of our tiny videos or our long videos.
Yes, share them.
Say, like... oh, you look fucking stupid or ugly. We don't care as long as there's engagement.
Hey, what you should do, you should pick apart the clips and say they should be edited a little bit differently. That's what you should do. Tell them that we should cut in the middle of saying something, and when I make this clip, I'll say cut in the mid, and it'll cut off.
Oh, that's really smart.
That's gonna be great. They're gonna love that type of content.
Also, make sure that you just share it.
Please.
And subscribe it.
You may think that you are powerless in this life, but guess what? You're not. You can press share.
It's one of the really only ways you have power. It's definitely much more power than like going to the voting booth.
No, we gotta hope that Snake presses the EMP and destroys the world with the code 666, baby.
Michael?
Yeah.
666 to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on the show.
You too.
Sean Parrott.
Happy Carpenter.
Thank you for being on the show. We'll see you all next week for Big Trouble
and
Little China. R.I.P. On behalf of Michael Hampton, I'm Sean Parrott saying to you, bon appetit.